The security revolution that changes everything. Let me explain why Pi Network's security infrastructure is the most underreported story in blockchain technology. Most cryptocurrencies focus on transaction security while ignoring identity protection, data privacy, and communication encryption. Pi Network built something unprecedented. End-to-end security that protects every aspect of digital interaction. Military-grade wallet encryption. Zero-knowledge identity verification. Fraud prevention that adapts to emerging threats. International compliance without sacrificing user privacy. But here's what makes this revolutionary. Pi Network created security infrastructure that individuals control instead of surrendering to corporate or government surveillance systems. Your financial data isn't stored on bank servers that hackers can breach. Your identity verification doesn't flow through government databases that can be weaponized against you. Your communications aren't monitored by tech companies that sell your privacy to advertisers. Pi Network's security model puts protection power in user hands while maintaining the verification standards that institutions require for legitimate commerce and compliance. This isn't just better security, it's digital sovereignty for regular people who don't want to choose between functionality and privacy. Decentralization as digital democracy. While other blockchain projects talk about decentralization as a technical feature, Pi Network implemented it as a governance revolution. Community-led decision-making through transparent voting. Fair token distribution based on contribution rather than capital investment. Regional representation ensuring global voices influence protocol development. But the most brilliant element is developer autonomy. Instead of requiring permission from core teams or venture capital gatekeepers, developers can build applications directly on Pi Network infrastructure with community support and user feedback guiding innovation. This creates something unprecedented in technology. A platform where users control development priorities instead of corporate executives maximizing shareholder profits. Think about the implications. When Facebook decides to change algorithms, users have no recourse. When Apple removes apps from their store, developers have no alternatives. When governments restrict internet access, citizens have limited options. Pi Network's decentralized architecture makes user communities the ultimate authority over platform evolution, feature development, and ecosystem governance. This isn't just technical decentralization, it's the democratization of digital infrastructure itself. Before we dive into Pi Network's plan to replace global banking infrastructure, and trust me, their cross-border payment strategy will completely reshape how you think about international finance. Smash that like button if you're seeing how Pi Network is building digital democracy while other projects build trading platforms, and subscribe to TJ Crypto World for the infrastructure investigations that reveal tomorrow's digital civilization today. Now, let me show you the global utility framework that could eliminate traditional banking entirely. Global utility infrastructure that replaces banking. Here's where Pi Network's strategy becomes absolutely revolutionary. They're not competing with banks, they're making banks irrelevant. Peer-to-peer transactions across any border without intermediaries. Merchant platforms that eliminate payment processor fees. Cross-currency exchange without traditional forex manipulation. Remittance services that bypass Western Union's extraction model. But the strategic genius lies in scalability design. Pi Network built infrastructure that handles both individual transactions and institutional volume without compromising speed, security, or cost efficiency. Traditional banks spend billions maintaining correspondent banking relationships for international transfers. Pi Network's architecture eliminates the need for these relationships entirely through direct, peer-to-peer settlement. Government agencies struggle with cross-border compliance and anti-money laundering requirements. Pi Network's KYC verification provides compliance assurance while maintaining user privacy through zero-knowledge protocols. International businesses pay massive fees for currency hedging and exchange rate protection. Pi Network's global consensus value pricing provides stability without speculative manipulation or institutional extraction. This isn't just better banking, it's the complete elimination of traditional banking's value extraction model through superior technology architecture. Web3, integration that rebuilds the internet. Pi Network's Web3 strategy reveals their ultimate ambition, replacing the current internet architecture with user-controlled alternatives. Software development kits that enable decentralized application creation without corporate platform dependencies. Application programming interfaces that let communities govern their own digital experiences. Wallet integration that puts users in control of their data, identity, and digital assets. But here's the revolutionary element. Pi Network is building Web3 infrastructure that works for regular people, not just technical experts. Most Web3 platforms require users to understand complex protocols, manage multiple wallets, and navigate confusing interfaces that exclude mainstream adoption. Pi Network created Web3 functionality that feels as simple as using traditional apps while providing all the sovereignty benefits of decentralized systems. This solves Web3's fundamental adoption problem, technical complexity that prevents normal people from accessing decentralized alternatives to centralized corporate platforms. When users can own their data, control their digital experience, and participate in borderless commerce through interfaces as simple as existing mobile apps, the migration from centralized to decentralized systems becomes inevitable. The infrastructure that replaces government systems. Pi Network's most ambitious infrastructure development targets functions typically controlled by governments: identity verification, voting systems, and public service delivery. Secure identity verification that individuals control instead of surrendering to government databases. Transparent voting mechanisms that ensure electoral integrity without compromising ballot privacy. Community governance models that enable direct democracy at unprecedented scale. But the real breakthrough is institutional integration capability. Pi Network built systems that governments and public sector organizations can adopt without surrendering citizen data to corporate platforms or foreign surveillance systems. Developing nations struggling with digital identity infrastructure can implement Pi Network's verification systems without building expensive government databases. Election systems requiring transparency and security can utilize Pi Network's voting protocols without trusting centralized vote counting mechanisms. International organizations needing cross-border collaboration can use Pi Network's governance frameworks without depending on any single nation's technological infrastructure. This positions Pi Network as digital infrastructure for human coordination at civilization scale, not just financial transactions, but the fundamental systems that enable organized society to function in digital environments. The implications are staggering. If Pi Network succeeds, they won't just be a cryptocurrency project. They'll be the technological foundation for how humans organize, govern, and interact in the digital age. If this investigation into Pi Network's global infrastructure blueprint opened your eyes to the future of human digital interaction, here's what I need you to do. Hit that like button. It tells YouTube that infrastructure analysis matters more than price speculation, and it helps us reach people who want to understand the technology that will define the next century of human civilization. Subscribe to TJ Crypto World and ring that notification bell. We're the only channel tracking the infrastructure developments that will reshape how humans interact with technology, governance, and each other in the digital age. Comment below, do you think Pi Network's infrastructure could actually replace traditional banking and government systems, or are institutional power structures too entrenched to allow this transition? Your analysis shapes our future civilization investigations. Thank you for joining this investigation into Pi Network's vision for digital civilization infrastructure. Your engagement and thoughtful analysis help us explore not just what technology can do, but how it might reshape the fundamental systems that govern human interaction and cooperation. If Pi Network's infrastructure revolution inspired you, you'll be absolutely fascinated by my recent investigation into how Arweave is building permanent storage for human knowledge, creating digital libraries that could preserve civilization's information forever, even through societal collapse. Click the video appearing on your screen now for exclusive analysis of humanity's digital preservation efforts. Remember, the most important technological developments aren't happening in trading markets or speculative bubbles. They're happening in infrastructure projects that quietly build the foundations for tomorrow's digital civilization. Keep exploring the technology that serves humanity's long-term needs, keep supporting projects that empower individuals over institutions, and keep building the digital systems that will enable human flourishing instead of corporate extraction. This is TJ Crypto World, and I'll see you in the next civilization investigation.